Let me tell you what the San Antonio Spurs did this postseason before the finals. They won 62 regular season games, first in the West. They knocked out the Oklahoma City Thunder, the defending NBA champions, in the Western Conference Finals. They arrived at the NBA Finals with the most physically gifted player on the planet and a roster built to compete for the next decade. And then they blew a 29-point lead in Game 4, led in the final 2 minutes of 3 of their 4 losses. Watch their franchise player shoot 1 for 5 in the fourth quarter of the game that ended their season. The San Antonio Spurs lost the 2026 NBA Finals 4-1 to the New York Knicks, and it wasn't close in the moments that mattered most. This is what actually happened, and it's a harder story than it looks.
To understand the collapse, you first have to understand the ascent, because what the Spurs built in 3 years under Victor Wembanyama is genuinely remarkable. Wembanyama was drafted first overall in 2023. His first 2 seasons, the Spurs missed the playoffs. By design, by necessity, by the reality of building around a 20-year-old in an era of elite competition. He was extraordinary individually from day one, but the team around him needed time. San Antonio was patient. The organization that had done this before, with Robinson, with Duncan, with Ginobili and Parker, understood the process. In his 3rd season, everything clicked. Wembanyama posted numbers that have never existed before at his position. 150 blocks, 150 assists, and 100 three-pointers in the same season. He became only the 2nd player ever to do that, and the first 3 consecutive times. He finished 3rd in MVP voting behind SGA and Jokic. The Spurs won 62 games. The West was theirs.
The Western Conference Finals against Oklahoma City was the series that defined their season. The Thunder were the defending champions, the team that had beaten everyone the year before. The Spurs dispatched them in 6 games. Wembanyama was everywhere, defending SGA, initiating offense, dominating the paint. San Antonio looked like a team on the verge of something historic. When they reached the finals, the narrative was clear. A young, hungry Spurs team with the most talented player in the world against an older, grittier Knicks team running on Jalen Brunson and collective will. Most analysts had the Spurs winning in 6 or 7. Wembanyama's size, his defensive versatility, his ability to alter the entire offensive structure of the Knicks, it all pointed towards San Antonio. Except it didn't go that way.
And the reason it didn't tells you everything about what separates good teams from championship teams. Games 1 and 2 went to New York, both on the road in San Antonio. The Knicks stole the opener, 105-95, then won Game 2 by a single point, 105-104. In Game 2, Wembanyama had a chance to tie it at the buzzer and missed. Down 2-0 at home, the series looked like it was already slipping away from the Spurs. Then came Game 3 at Madison Square Garden, and Wembanyama delivered the best performance of his finals. 32 points on 11 for 18 from the field. 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. He attacked the rim, he ran the pick and roll to perfection. He was a problem from every angle. The Spurs won 115-111 and finally looked like the team that had beaten OKC. Coach Mitch Johnson said nobody was surprised. Wembanyama said playing at MSG felt like playing 5 against 6. The crowd was a 6th defender. He didn't care. He dominated anyway.
Game 4 is where the series turned permanently. The Spurs came out and destroyed the Knicks from the opening tip, a 12-2 run to start. They led by 37-20 after 1 quarter. By halftime, they were up 76-49, the largest halftime lead in NBA Finals history. Wembanyama was clapping at half court, tapping his temple, the body language of a player who knew they had this. They managed just 14 points in the 3rd quarter. The Knicks went on a 13-0 run. MSG woke up. Brunson started scoring. And with 1.2 seconds left,
OG Anunoby tipped in the game winner, 107-106, the largest comeback in NBA Finals history. Series 3-1. In Game 5 in San Antonio, down 3-1, the Spurs had one chance left. They built another lead, up 16 in the fourth quarter. Wembanyama was 5 for 5 on blocks in the first half. And then the fourth quarter happened. He shot 1 for 5 in the final period. 3 points. Brunson scored 13 straight. A floater with 65 seconds left put the Knicks up for good. 94-90. Championship over. The pattern across the series was brutal and consistent. The Spurs led in the final 2 minutes of 3 of their 4 losses. They had the lead multiple times in multiple games, and they lost every single one of them. They weren't outplayed for 48 minutes. They were outplayed for the last 4.
The easy answer is youth. The Spurs are young. Wembanyama is 22, Stephon Castle is 21, Dylan Harper is 19. You can't expect a team this young to close out an NBA Finals on the first try. That answer is accurate, but it's incomplete. The closing problem was real and specific. In the moments that mattered most, the final 4 minutes of close games, the Spurs' offense stalled. Wembanyama, who had been brilliant for large stretches, became hesitant in late-game situations. In Game 5's fourth quarter, he took 5 shots and made 1. 3 points. In a game the Spurs were leading. The most talented player on the floor disappeared at the exact moment the game needed him.
The Knicks had a specific defensive answer for everything San Antonio tried late. They sagged off the shooters, dared the Spurs role players to beat them from 3, and forced every possession through Wembanyama, where he had to make a decision against a collapsing defense. He's 22 years old and was in his first finals. Making those reads at game speed, in those moments, against a team that had been there before, it's a different skill from what wins you 62 games in the regular season. The Game 4 collapse was the wound that never healed. Blowing a 29-point lead in the NBA Finals doesn't just cost you one game. It cost you the series, psychologically. The Spurs came back for Game 5 and built another lead, and then watched it slip again in the same way. When you've already seen it happen once, the doubt arrives earlier the second time. The Knicks had learned something from coming back in Game 4. The Spurs hadn't learned how to stop it.
Wembanyama himself said it best after Game 5 in the press conference. He sat at the table and said, "This is the biggest lesson of my life, the biggest learning moment. Not angry, not making excuses, just honest." He acknowledged that the Spurs led in the final minutes of 3 losses and couldn't hold on. He said he was learning more than at any other point in his life. That is the response of a player who understands what happened and intends to fix it. It is also the response of a player who is 22 years old and has several more chances coming. This Spurs team is not finished. They are not broken. They went through exactly 100 games this season, 82 regular season, 18 playoffs, before reaching the championship. They beat the defending champions to get there. They had leads in games 2, 4, and 5 of the finals and lost all 3. That's not a team that doesn't belong. That's a team that hasn't learned to finish yet. There's a difference, and it's a difference that can be learned.
There will be a conversation this offseason about Victor Wembanyama and what the finals revealed about him. Here is that conversation in full. He averaged 24 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, and 3 blocks per game in this postseason. Numbers that no player at his position has ever produced in a playoff run at 22 years old. He beat the defending champions. He had a 32-point performance in the NBA Finals against one of the best defensive teams in the league. The talent is not in question. What the finals revealed is that great talent and great closing are not the same thing. Wembanyama can dominate a game. He showed that repeatedly. What he hasn't learned yet is how to dominate a game's final 4 minutes, when every possession matters, when the defense is perfect, when one wrong decision ends everything.
That is a specific skill. Jordan learned it, Duncan learned it, LeBron had to learn it, and failed publicly in 2011 before coming back to win 4 titles.
The most important data point isn't the game's 4 and 5 failures. It's that the Spurs won 62 games in Wembanyama's 3rd season, after missing the playoffs in his first 2. The trajectory is vertical. He is 22 years old. He went from lottery pick to finals in 3 seasons. The gap between where he is and where he needs to be in late-game situations is real, and it is closable. Wembanyama left San Antonio on Saturday night having played 100 games of basketball at the highest level in 1 season, more than he had ever played in any previous year. He is not broken. He is educated. The NBA just gave him the most expensive education money can't buy, and the bill came due in the 4th quarter.